Hello, everybody. This review is on The Devil Wears Prada. So, the plot of this movie is this woman named Andy Sachs, played by Anne Hathaway, is an aspiring journalist who then applies for a job at a fashion magazine called Runway. Despite not being a fashion person, she thinks, well, this is as good as a job as she could get. And so she applies. Once she applies, she is hired as the assistant for the editor named Miranda Priestley, played by Meryl Streep, who is very high demanding, cares drastically about looks, and really wants more power and wants the magazine to be absolutely perfect. Like, she's very possessive over looks, very critical, and just wants everything to be top notch. So she decides to use Andy to give her more power, and Andy then is provided with a bunch of tasks of what to do, what to design, what kind of dresses to design, and everything. And of course, it doesn't always work out. So Andy then starts to question her job, saying, "You know what? Is this really who I want to work for? Is this really that good?" So it's a big it's a big crisis for her when it comes to her new job. So she has to find out if working for Miranda is actually that good or not. I thought this was a good movie. Since the sequel's coming out, I thought I would review it. And 20 years ago this came out. Man, a long time. And I do think this is a good film. Even if you're not a fashion person, I mean, everybody's fashionable in their own way. I mean, I'm sure but I mean, like, even if you're not, what's the right word? Like, devoted to fashion, if you're not like highly into it, if you're not like up to date with all the trends or whatever, like, this is still a good movie. Like, it's not even just about all the fashion and the glamour and everything. Like, you don't even need to be knowledgeable with that kind of stuff to know this kind of movie, because most of the plot's more a commentary about workplace and just how not so great it is. Because, like I said, the whole conflict of the movie is Miranda is very demanding. She's very particular about what's good for her magazine and what everything. And yeah, that is really good commentary about like how people really misuse their power because they think, oh, I want my thing to look as perfect as possible. That means I can, torment or not treat my workers well. And like, yeah, that's definitely not something good. Like, yeah, there's a fine line between wanting to protect your job and just flat out making it miserable for everybody. And you never want to make it miserable for everybody, because fittingly enough, when you're the boss of something and you make people miserable, when just normal people start to hear about it, it makes them ironically miserable. And like, Miranda's not like evil. Like, she's not like, she is the villain of the movie. I guess she's the antagonist. That's a good way to put it. She's the antagonist, and Meryl Streep does give a very good performance. I mean, Meryl Streep's known for being a very great actress. I mean, I do like her. I haven't. I know that I'm gonna get my life card revoked for saying this, but I haven't seen that many Meryl Streep movies. Not to say that I not on purpose, like, not from what I've seen, she definitely has a lot of talent, and I do think she's really good in this. But and I think did she win or was nominated for an Oscar for this movie? I don't know, but I do think I do think she is very good in this. I do think she portrays that kind of arrogant, demanding, really doesn't care what other people feel about how they feel kind of vibe. Like, she wants what she wants. Like, she's a perfectionist. Like, she's an extreme perfectionist, like the one you don't really want to be around. And yeah, her performance is great, but I think Anne Hathaway deserves a lot of credit too. I feel like, because she is the main character after all, so I think she should be highlighted. And yes, Meryl is really good, but I think Anne Hathaway is very good in this. I mean, Anne Hathaway is good in anything she's in, but I do like how she you could this could have been like a really obvious character. Like, she starts applying for a job working at a fashion magazine, and she's just a journalist. So you're probably thinking, like, with something so high class as a as a fashion magazine, and something that's so devoted into glamour, like, you think she'd be a little more like naive and, think apply her jobs. And like, there is kind of some of that. Like, she actually, like, and there's definitely parts of the movie where, like, she tries to help Miranda design like different dresses and stuff, and like Miranda's like, nope, it has to be like this. Like this is not good enough. Like there is moments like that, but she's not like the clueless, naive type journalist character. Like you can actually tell what she's going through. Like she actually has humanity in her. Like you could tell that she really does want this job, and she's not being clueless. She's just, it's just not in her element. And I do like stories like that where like it shows that even if characters suffer through a problem or are put in a situation they're not always comfortable with, they don't make them clueless. Like they don't make them, unaware of what's going on. They actually do try and try and try. And Miranda and Andy, like, well, yeah, they're definitely opposing, and they obviously, it leaves Andy conflicted on whether or not she wants to keep the job. I think their chemistry is both really good when it comes to like debating on trust. Like there's a lot of weird motivations to both the characters, and uh Stanley Tucci's in the movie. He plays Nigel, who's the fashion director at Runway, and Stanley Tucci is a great actor. I do really like him. I think he's really good in this, and they could have, and he's kind of what you expect. He actually wants to help Andy. He wants to let Andy know like what Miranda's all about, and tries to alert her of her ways and stuff like that. And like, yeah, I know that's kind of typical for like the antagonist of the movie to have like a more sympathetic like sidekick, I guess. But like, it's not like that. Like Miranda's not a villain per se. Like I said, like she's not like evil and mean and rude. She's just more, she has an ego to her. That's what you can say. And Emily Blunt, I also do like. She does add a lot of conflict to the film as well. She plays a girl named Emily. Yeah, you gotta love when movies have characters played by actors with the same name. And she's kind of an obvious character, but she adds to the comic. Like she's an arrogant, wants to be the best editor kind of person at the Runway magazine. And she starts off as like saying like, oh, she starts developing a jealousy for Andy because Miranda is basically treating her as the favorite. But she then starts to see how sweet Andy is and actually wants to see her as a friend. And she's like, oh, okay, maybe she's not so bad. And yeah, it could have there could have been a lot of super lame misunderstandings. And every now and then, yeah, she kind of uses her naivety to her advantage. But I do like that they didn't really drag that on too long, because the takeaway would have been pretty obvious. And even if, like I said, even if you're not into fashion or whatever, like I still think this is a good film if you just want to see something about workplace conditions, and how stuff can have a lot of difficult situations when it comes to even the workers who are basically unaware of what's happening. So yeah, it's a definitely an interesting film. Like even if there's not a lot of action per se, well, like yeah, like there is conflict, and it's more about the characters and their experience with working at Runway and what their perspectives on fashion is. And it's an interesting movie. I do think it's a lot of fun. It's carried by two particularly really great performances. I mean, every performance in this movie is great, but I feel Anne Hathaway and Meryl Streep in particular are very very good, and I think they really carry the movie. And where even if you don't really care about fashion, or I mean, not devoted to fashion, and you're not highly into it, it still makes for an entertaining movie about just how really bad some workplace conditions are, even if they look super elegant and fancy. So I do think Devil Wears Prada is a good movie. I am looking forward to the sequel. Hopefully that's good. I'm likely probably going to see it this weekend. I hope so. If you like Anne Hathaway, or if you like fashion, or if you just like movies about exploring different career jobs, I think this is a good film to check out. So I mean, I'm sure it's a very popular movie, so I'm sure most of you have probably seen it. But if you haven't seen it, I'd say it's worth a watch, especially if you're curious about the sequel and just want to give this one a chance. It's worth watching. So take care.